Your intention is important. Your increased success is important, whatever it may be, your ability to manifest. So that's how we gauge whether we had a great weekend or not. And if you feel more empowered right now, that's wonderful. And we've been doing our job. But if you feel more empowered a month from now, that's even better. You only need one of these tools to change your life. Only one. Some of the dumbest, I mean just rock dumb people I have ever known have been incredibly good at manifesting because they found one thing that worked for them. And they just did it over and over and over again. And they didn't know anything else. They didn't know what else to do. That's what they did. So when you find that one thing, just do it over and over again. And keep manifesting. Get in the habit of manifesting every day. Little things. Parking stall. You know, you're going into the mall or something like that. I want a parking stall right in front of, Macy's. Just get it, put out that intention and just see it for a second. Then let it go and put on your radio. And then when you pull into Macy's, there's going to be a parking stall waiting for you. The more you get into the habit of manifesting little things, we don't want to wait until we have something absolutely humongous that we need to manifest in our life. We want to get into the habit of You do it already. You've manifested a job or a career, you've manifested a business. So you're already manifestors. All I'm trying to do is pour some gas on the fire. Give you some skills and tools in order to kick it up a notch or two. There's nothing that says, people say, remember we talked about this yesterday. People say, well, I have 5-year goals, I have 10-year goals. Why not make it a year? I mean, if your goal is to be worth $5 million in 10 years from now, you can be worth $5 million 2 years from now. Why limit yourself? Think big. Okay, so you don't hit the 5 million in 2 years. Maybe you only hit 2.5. It's okay. Set the goal even larger for the next 5 years. Make it 2 years. Make it 1 year. Things happen. I had a client, she says, Robert, everything in my life is perfect except money. She had a business, but she wasn't managing her business properly. So I helped her get her business making money. And her business started earning money. And she said, my business is making a lot of money now. I'm doing really good. And she said, I just feel like everything has come together for me. So she's in her own mind, because her and I had talked about leveraging. And leverage is the key. You gotta always leverage everything. In her mind, she wanted to leverage. So she invested every week. And I call it an investment on her part. Most people's part I wouldn't. But in hers, I call it an investment. Every week, she would invest in one lottery ticket. I said, I don't have anything against gambling. Gambling can be fun. But I said, you are gambling. She says, no, I'm not. I'm manifesting. She called me up one night. I just won over $1 million. It's on the website. We've had several winners like that. That won 100,000, 50,000. And they win all the time, too. I had one lady, she like her game is Reno. She loves slot machines. Now, anybody that knows anything about slot machines knows it's the biggest sucker game in the world. I mean, it's like a 95, 98%. Yeah, you know, you see the signs, 98% payout? It's 98% payout to the house. She goes down to Reno regularly and comes back with 20, 15, 10,000 dollars in her pocket.
Can you teach us how to manifest gambling? Forget about everything else.
Forget about everything else.
Let's do it on baccarat specifically.
Well, baccarat is the only game you can lose and still owe money when you're done.
True.
Yeah.
I love baccarat.
I'm just using these as examples. I'm just using these as examples. So, the same happened with a good friend of mine in Boston. He called me up and he said, this several years ago, I did a 7-day challenge on the podcast. If you go back to one of the old things, maybe 2012 or something, there's a 7-day challenge. I take 7 people for 7 days. And I got 3 people. One guy, all he wanted was a car, a new truck. He lives in Los Angeles. And he said, you can't do anything in LA without a vehicle. And I said, I want a truck because I do a lot of disco stuff. I got to carry my equipment. And I'm also an actor. I got to go for acting jobs and things like that. And he said, I can't do anything without a truck. I said, okay. Well, trucks are easy to come by. You go to the car lot. He said, well, that's the problem. I don't have any money. I said, well, how much money do you have? Maximum $500. I said, well, you might be able to get something like the Beverly Hillbillies truck. Maybe not even that for $500. He said, no, really, can you help me? I said, of course you can help yourself. Well, I didn't like the sound of that. I didn't like the sound of that. I said, why? You want somebody to do it for you? So we began working together, and I thought it would be an interesting challenge. And I gave him not only the work that we're doing here, the manifesting work, but I also gave him some practical tips. I said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to find somebody out there who's going to trust you, a complete stranger, with a nice, newer truck, and is going to take monthly payments, sell it to you on contract. He said, where am I going to find something like that in LA? There's your limiting belief, number one. He says, okay, so I'm going to believe that that's going to happen. It took him 2 months. He got a 2-year-old truck with $500 down, monthly payments to the owner. The other guy raised $25,000. He was unemployed, professor, Boston College. Raised $25,000 in his first week. He was hooked. That was it.
How did you do it?
Huh?
What did you do?
He put out an intention. Somebody that came into his life through professional means, and that person put up $25,000 into a new business. Inside of 18 months, we raised $2.5 million.
What? Everybody or just that guy?
Just that guy.
What the hell did he do? What's his, like?
Started a new business.
Doing what?
Farm-raised fish that have less PCBs, have no PCBs and or mercury. But it's an unproven method. He's selling on the come, you know. So he said, I'm going to give myself the same salary that I made when I was a professor. I said, that's a good idea. And the business is off and rolling right now. It keeps me up to date. It's worth money, opportunity. So it's not money about money though, was it? For that guy, it was about a truck. Had nothing to do with money, did it? Or the other guy, it was about being able to share an idea that might help feed the world with untoxic fish. And that was his idea. What's your idea? You're filled with ideas. You're connected to source energy. So what's stopping you from tapping into them? From opening up to them? And relationships. What is going on in the world today? I am running into so many people. The phone literally rings off the hook. I can only take 5 relationship clients at a time now. I can't take it. I mean, they're literally, people know that I'm here and they're still texting me over the weekend. Can you have everybody there pray for me? No, you're not learning how to manifest. Here's what I'm finding. Women are having trouble getting men to commit to a relationship. Men are having the same problem. Well, we've been dating for a long time and I really love her and I know she loves me, but she's scared to commit. And it's the same thing with women. What's going on? There's an old saying that goes back to when I was a young kid.
Oh, the milk.
So, I have a guy in Australia, and his girlfriend breaks up with him because he was texting other female friends. He's in the music business. And was texting other artists and stuff like that. Nothing intimate, just texting them. And she is a hyper jealous person who goes through his phone.
Oh, Lord.
And so I can't trust you. Blah, 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 blah. She's an MMA fighter too, by the way. I can't trust you. So she's breaking up the relationship. So he's trying to tell her, I didn't do anything, I haven't done anything. I'm sorry. You touched me.
Wasn't me with the red boy.
You touched me. I'm going, that would be true for most women. She's an MMA fighter. She can handle herself. Probably beat him up.
Yeah, definitely.
You touched me. So now she's got, I don't trust you. Now she's got him doing this game. Here's the game. Are you ready for the game, folks?
It's resisting,
Okay. You want to have a relationship with me? You got to jump on this foot 3 times, then you got to jump on that foot, and then you got to turn around and come back this way, She's got him jumping from foot to foot. You ever been in a relationship like that, where the other person has you jumping from foot to foot? So the story is very simple. The solution is always the same, and that is, if the delivery man showed up to your house, you know this one, with a box of rocks or a box of diamonds, which one would you take? You take the diamonds, of course, because they're more rare. The one thing that people do in a relationship is they avoid rarity. You know what I'm saying? They avoid rarity. You have to increase your rareness. That's the secret. And nobody wants to do that. I'll text him 50 times a day until he loves me. Doesn't work that way. People want what is rare. So always remember that. That's with everything. So there's different strategies for money and abundance and different strategies for relationships. But they all come down to feeling, don't they? The biochemistry in your body, a attach it, the good feeling, to your intention, and just let it happen. Let it happen. Stop pushing it. Stop looking at the phone, waiting for it to ring. Just know what's happening now. Get into that new state of consciousness. The state of consciousness that says, I'm beyond want, I know. Nothing's stopping it. It's flowing through me now.
Here's a technique based on the works of the late Donald Michael Craig and neurolinguistic programming. Now, Craig came up with this idea called identify, objectify, and vanish. And so we kind of combine that concept along with the NLP swish method. You're going to find it very effective in banishing negative energy, in removing negative thoughts and fears and doubts from your mind. So the first thing is to visualize the fear. And we're going to give the fear an image. What does the fear look like? Perhaps you fear being broke. Perhaps you fear being homeless. Perhaps you fear being without love. Whatever it is you fear, give it an image. Now, I'm going to make up an image just for the sake of this video. Let's assume it's slimy and kind of like a slug and has one eye and kind of ugly green teeth. And its whole energy says, you are a failure. You will never have the money you deserve. So that's your fear, okay? You can make up your own as we go along. Number 2, make your monster. As you see this monster, make it big, intimidating, because that's how fear is in your life. That's how doubt is in your life. That's how anxiety is in your life. So see it big, see it large, see it as intimidating. And then slowly breathe and make yourself larger and larger and larger in your imagination. So that as you become larger, this ugly, nasty monster of your fears and doubts, limiting beliefs, becomes smaller. And then let's do something kind of fun. In our imagination, let's give it a birthday cap. You know those little pointed ones? And perhaps a red clown nose and some big clown feet. And let's make it smaller and smaller and smaller. And perhaps we might want to put some music to it. You know, dun 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 dun. You know, that kind of music. And maybe even make that monster riding around on a little unicycle. As we continue to feel empowered, larger, breathing deeper, feeling more calm and relaxed. Calm and relaxed. You've made the image small. You've made it goofy looking. You've put it on a little unicycle. You've put some crazy circus music to it. Now turn it black and white and still. I like to literally put out my hands like this. Even though I'm doing it all here, put out my hands like this and see it turn black and white. Like a small black and white picture. You know those pictures from the 1940s and 1950s? They're kind of grainy looking. That's what my fear looks like now. Now I just kind of move it off into the distance. So I see it getting further and further and further away from me. At some point, it's going to be about the size of a postage stamp. And now take a deep breath. You have this fear off in the distance. And you can simply say swish. You can clap your hands. You can say now. That's what I like to do. Now. Take a deep breath in and instantly see a bright future, a compelling life. Without the fear, what does your life feel like? What does it look like? Without that fear, without that anxiety. It's in bright, vivid color. Perhaps you have the money you desire, the love you crave, the health you depend upon. You're feeling big. You're feeling empowered. You're feeling in control of your life. For the first time, perhaps. And now just close your eyes and be grateful with a moment of gratitude for this new and incredible life that you are enjoying. Now, this sounds complex, and the instructions are in the manual. But think about this. Research has shown that if you will do this 7 times in a row, quickly, it should only take you 2 minutes each time. If you get really good at it, a minute. In other words, repetition is more important than taking it and doing it for an hour. Just 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Do it 5 to 7 times. Do it for 7 days in a row. And after about the 3rd or 4th day, what happens is a lot of people kind of give up on it because they don't feel the fear anymore. The fear's gone. It's been dissipated. Keep doing it. Make sure it's all gone. Fear is like a cancer. We want to get every last cell. So do it for a full 7 days, 5 to 7 times in a row each day. You're going to be absolutely astonished.
Let's talk about incantations. An affirmation is a statement that I make to myself. Now, this is a secret you don't find from other law of attraction gurus. And some of them, I don't know why, because some of them have studied the sacred mysteries, perhaps not to the level that I have. Many of them have studied hypnosis. I don't know why they don't share this. You won't find it in another book, but you'll find it here today. It's called incantations. So an affirmation is a statement that we make to ourselves. And if we make it long enough, and if we emotionalize it and visualize it, we begin to believe it. And as we believe it, we begin to attract it. You cannot manifest or attract anything that you don't believe in. It's just not possible. So that's what affirmations do. I hate it when somebody calls me up and says, Robert, I have a date Friday night. Can you give me an affirmation? Yeah, stay home. Because an affirmation takes about 21 to 28 days to start sinking into your subconscious mind. And guess what your counter-intentions are doing the whole time? You don't believe that affirmation. You don't believe that affirmation. Right? So you're in this little battle. I say it, but I don't believe it. And that's why we have to emotionalize it. Emotionalize your goals. Emotionalize the outcome. But what about an incantation? That's a little different because we're skipping past the conscious mind and we're giving